13 is on your side.
Welcome back to 13 on Your Side Mornings. November is National Adoption Awareness Month, and today we're joined by author Liz Brown. Liz, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You wrote a book. You were actually adopted. Can you tell us a little bit more about your personal adoption story?
Yeah, so my parents were missionaries in the Dominican Republic, and I was adopted at 5.5 months. And then we lived there till I was 3. I have an older brother who's biological to them, and then we moved to Grand Rapids in 1988. So I've been here most of my life.
Most of your life.
Yeah.
And what was it like growing up? Did you know that you were adopted?
Oh yeah. I mean, my parents are white, so
Okay, yeah.
yeah, it was pretty clear that something was a little different, you know. But I mean, we talked about it all the time, and my parents were very intentional about raising me in an environment where there were a lot of people who looked like me. We grew up on the southeast side of Grand Rapids, so it was predominantly, you know, African American, Hispanic population around there. But then, you know, we had friends from church who were adopted where their parents were white and they were kids of color as well. So they were very intentional about giving me a life where I saw kids who were adopted, saw families who had transracial adoptions just like mine. But there were moments, you know, where people would make comments and things like that, like, "Oh, is that your foster worker?" or "Is that your social worker?" Those kind of comments, and I'm like, "Nope, that's just my mom. That's my dad." You know, so those were really frustrating, especially middle school when you're going through everything else developmentally. So those were some hard years, but otherwise, it's really all I know. So
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you actually wrote a book about your experience. Can you tell us what inspired you to write this book?
The biggest inspiration for it was, well, two pieces. One, there weren't a lot of, and still aren't a lot of children's books with characters of color. And then also finding books for children about adoption from the adoptee's point of view. A lot of the books are for, you know, parents who are adopting and the more textbooky, more, you know, harder adult language. And I was like, you know, we need more books from an adoptee's point of view that children can understand. And because I was a school teacher and because I had done, you know, just working in classrooms and things like that, I thought, you know, if I'm going to solve this problem, I need to do it. Otherwise, I don't think it will take a lot of time to finally find books like that.
Yeah. Why should people read your book?
I think this book, I tell people I wrote it for anyone who loves or is connected to an adoptee. So it could be the adoptee themselves, it could be a family who adopted, it could be a school teacher, a social worker, you know, anyone who has a connection to an adoptee will learn from my point of view and my lived experience of what adoption was like and answer some questions that they may have as they connect with their adoptee that they love.
Okay, wow, really interesting. Really interesting. Tell me, where can people go to buy your book?
So my book is on Amazon. It's you can get a Kindle version or the hard copy version as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Thank you again so much for being here with us, Liz. Really appreciate hearing your story, and thank you so much for sharing it with us.
You.
Let's turn things over now to Blake.